nice students that snapped and killed their teacher. Let's get active.
Willard Miller was a casual, calm, and boring, but fairly nice student.
Okay.
While attending a school in Fairfield, Iowa. He took a Spanish class with plans to pass and eventually study abroad in Spain.
Who plans to fail a class?
McGraber was a 66-year-old Spanish teacher who also attended Fairfield High School. She had been teaching for years with a reputation for being firm but fair. But on November 2nd, 2021, she had just posted semester grades and one of her students was failing her class.
Okay.
The student was Miller, and the bad grade put his academics standing at risk. With the failed class on his transcript, he would now never be able to travel abroad to Spain. Miller's mother showed up to Graber's class to have a meeting about his academic performance. They sat for a while, shared concerns, made a...
Low-key, I would crack my teacher, but never snap her neck.
Go ahead and mute that nigga.
couple of jokes, and then, well, that was it. The meeting went well for all three of them, and after they left, each individual went back to their home except for Graber. While on a daily walk at Chautauqua Park, she'd bump into Miller. Although she thought the student already went home, she'd wave hi to him. He smiled in return, and then he proceeded to smash her in the face with a baseball bat as hard as he possibly could.
Oh my God!
Let's pause here for a second. You see, ever since Miller had failed his class in fall, other students reported that he began slowly making dark jokes about Graber,
You know he was at the lunch table just saying some crazy shit. I hope she trip and fall down the stairs or some shit. You know when that friend make that trash ass joke or something? And you just looking at that nigga like this? He was probably hitting it with all types of crazy ass jokes. They just looking at him like, what the fuck are you saying, bro?
These jokes slowly evolved into intentions when Miller was caught searching things on Google in regards to if students would be given an automatic pass in their class if their teacher passed away mid-term.
Yo, is this nigga serious? So he thought he was just gonna kill her and fucking get away with it? You smashed her face in the middle of a park. Probably cameras everywhere.
For some odd reason, a failed semester was enough to cause Miller to snap, and another student named Jeremy Goodale wanted to join him on his nefarious and ridiculously stupid mission to assassinate a teacher for his grades.
What?
At this
Where is this place at?
point, you could probably guess what happened. Goodale stayed on watch as Miller struck the Spanish teacher again and again with a baseball bat, swinging as hard as he could.
This was at Florida?
You would assume that this shameful atrocity was over. The two students didn't stop there. Miller handed the bat over to Goodale because she was still alive. They kept hitting her over and over again.
Bro, this is like fucking brutal!
Fracturing her skull and causing irreparable damage. When they finally stopped, they dragged her body off the path, covered it...
Never mind, it was Iowa. What the fuck you get Florida from?
...with a tarp they'd brought specifically for this purpose. Then they took her van and drove it to a remote rural road to make her disappearance look random. Her body was discovered the next day by other park visitors. Shortly after her passing, Miller and Goodale were...
How the fuck are both of their necks the exact same length? That shit is weird. They got the same body type with a different face.
...arrested within days, after saying things like, "That teacher failed the wrong students, and I caught a body with a bat."
What are their parents teaching them? Like, really growing up, I never thought to, like, even kill somebody. They killed somebody over an F in a class.
The two idiots shamelessly bragged about their deed until it landed them in handcuffs.
Good.
And, in April 2023, both pleaded guilty to their crimes. Miller received life with parole eligibility after 35 years.
Holy shit!
Goodale got life with parole after 25 years.
Oh my
There's
God!
something about failing students from schools that for some odd reason always brings out the worst in them.
Nigga, nah, hell no. That's just them niggas.
The overreaction incident. Abby Zwerner was a 25-year-old first-grade teacher at Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia. January 6th started ordinarily like any other day. But one of her students, a boy who was 20 minus 14 years old, had been acting up all morning. He'd get up repeatedly, disrupt the class, and ignore instructions. The guy was having a blast, but he was out of control, so Abby kept telling him to sit down. At one point, frustrated by being told to sit down again, the fella threw his hands up in the air and yelled, "Fine!" As his arms came down, he deliberately knocked the teacher's phone off her desk, shattering the screen. She had to send him to the office, and school policy required consequences for property damage. So he was suspended and went home angry. His mother was notified, but there was something the school administrators didn't know about. The family kept a loaded, pew-pew at home. and the boy knew exactly where it was.
How does your 6-year-old son know where your gun is? Like, that shit don't make no sense. Oh,
After serving the
shit.
suspension, he returned to school. Security didn't thoroughly search his pockets.
Yeah,
but
they not thinking that who the fuck is... I can't even blame security. You don't think a 6-year-old is gonna walk in the building with a gun.
too
Nobody
small to
thinks
hold
that.
anything dangerous. And besides, what possible threat could someone as small as him actually pose? He walked into Verna's classroom while she helped another student. She looked up and saw him standing there in the doorway. Suddenly, he pulled out the weapon, and before she could react, yeah, pew pew. I probably can't talk too deeply about this on YouTube, but she was struck directly in the chest. The other students screamed, and the perp dropped his weapon and quickly ran out of the class. Sverna was rushed to the hospital. She survived the attack, but the injury caused permanent damage to her spine since fragments remained permanently lodged near it.
She's a fucking teacher. The kid was acting up and he shot her. Bro, you know what I wonder? What's about to happen? He about to go to juvie? Like, what?
Doctors determined that it'd be too dangerous to remove without risking paralysis. The little guy couldn't be charged due to his age, but his mother, Deja Taylor, was later charged and received 3 years and 9 months for felony neglect.
Holy shit.
Verna resigned from teaching after the attempt on her life. She's spoken publicly about suffering from PTSD and being unable to return to the classroom, and later on filed a $40 million lawsuit against the school district, claiming administrators had ignored warnings from staff members about the weapon.
So a nigga knew that he had a weapon? Bro, you know, so he avoided juvie, but his mom went to prison for 3 years. What does the house look like once she comes home? Kid should still get in some type of trouble, but like, what type of trouble do you give him? He's 6.
The first grade teacher was year-old because she told him to sit down. Madness. The bully. Noel Estevez was a young man attending school in the Bronx in New York. For months, he had been living in absolute hell. A group of older boys had been tormenting him relentlessly. They'd call him names and shove him into lockers between classes.
Wait, okay, I'm sorry. I've just never heard of a nigga actually getting shoved into a locker.
They would also follow him home and stand outside his building, laughing and threatening him.
Yo, this is that type
Sometimes, they urinated on his front door,
Bro!
forcing his family to clean it up while his younger siblings watched. Noel told teachers and administrators what was happening. Still, nothing changed. The bullies became more aggressive, with the main one being Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Crump. Yeah.
Oh.
He was bigger and stronger than Noel,
what
and
the
genuinely enjoyed watching Noel flinch. On June 18th, 2014, Timothy and his friends surrounded Noel again.
Oh.
But this time, Tim started throwing punches, striking Noel in his chest and ribs as he tried defending himself. His bully was too strong, Noel was overpowered, and immediately went down.
Oh, damn.
Other students gathered around filming on their phones as they watched him get beaten to a pulp. And once again, just like the police and just like the teachers, no one stepped in to intervene. It was at this moment that something inside Noel snapped. He'd started carrying a knife for protection and intimidation after months of harassment.
I don't blame the nigga. I mean, at this point, what the fuck do you do? Like, yo, I carry a pocket knife too. I'm like, what's good, nigga? Sklink, nigga. Sklink, nigga. But yeah, how did he kill the teacher, though?
Never planning to actually use it. But in that moment, Noel saw red. He pulled out the hidden weapon and fought back, completely catching his bully by surprise, and he attacked him. Timothy tried to get away, but there was no chance. He eventually passed away, and Noel was arrested by the police for second-degree. But extensive evidence of bullying emerged. Text messages, witness statements, and security footage showed previous attacks, allowing his charge to be reduced. Noel pleaded guilty and received 18 months in juvenile detention and 5 years probation. The duel.
You know what? I'm not mad at that, bro. Bro, at what point do the teachers help out? Actually, I ain't gonna hold you. When the fucking teacher ever help out with bullying, my nigga? What they gonna do to you? So you sit across the class, as soon as you go out in lunch, these niggas is gonna come find you. I mean, I wouldn't have killed the nigga. A little nut shot, you know what I'm saying? Uppercut to the dick. That have a nigga.
Chen Zihan was a Chinese student in Guizhou province, and like Noel, he had also been bullied relentlessly for years by the same group of boys. The main bully was a student named Li Hao. He was bigger and more aggressive than Chen, and for reasons that were never really entirely clear, he'd beat him regularly, take his money, and humiliate him publicly. Chen tried telling his teachers about the attacks, but nonetheless, again and again, Li Hao kept seeking him out. And on April 30th, Li Hao and several gang friends cornered Chen in an alleyway near school after classes ended. But this time felt different from the usual
Jay, y'all ever dealt with a bully?
beatings. Li Hao pulled out a knife and then handed it to Chen. "We're going to have a one-on-one knife fight," he shouted loudly to his friends. Chen thought it was a bluff or just another twisted form of psychological manipulation. But he was being dead serious. Li Hao's friends immediately formed a tight circle around them both, blocking any possible escape routes. All of their faces were stern.
This is some shit you see in an anime.
None of them were joking. Chen had never held a knife as a weapon. He was terrified to even grab it. His hands were shaking uncontrollably. Li Hao became excited, as if this were entertainment. "Pick it up," Li Hao ordered. Surrounded by enemies, Chen listened and picked up the knife with trembling hands. Li Hao lunged forward aggressively. He was used to knife fights like these, and to him, Chen was fresh meat. Li Hao slashed and stabbed at Chen, scarring and injuring the young man. He kept slashing away at him until everything went black. Chen thought he faded out of consciousness, but in reality, the young man cracked. His survival instincts took over, he stopped thinking about what he was doing, and he just reacted on pure adrenaline and fear. To Li Hao's complete surprise, the nerd he once thought was an easy target began overpowering him. An enraged, adrenaline-pumped Chen had now pushed past Li Hao's swipes and unleashed a vicious attack on the bully with the small knife he had. In the blink of an eye, the fight was over. Chen was picked up by emergency services for his injuries, but the same couldn't be said for Li Hao. The wounds Chen left on him were so severe that he passed away before the ambulance could even arrive.
Holy
In
shit!
China, self-defense rarely ends successfully in the court system. Chen was arrested and charged with intentional injury resulting in one's passing, and during his trial, his lawyers argued that he was forced to participate in the fight against his will. They said that he acted purely in self-defense after years of systematic bullying. But nonetheless, Chen was sentenced to 8 years in prison.
Oh my god! This shit just goes to show life is not fair, bruh. Could have been worse. Nigga, can you imagine 8 years in prison? 8 years ago, I was a junior in high school. So much life has happened. From 10 to 18 is literally 5th grade to motherfucking college. Bro, it's because this nigga was getting bullied and he snapped and now he has to go to jail.
His case sparked
Your whole childhood's cooked.
intense national debate in China about school bullying, victim responsibility, and whether students fighting back should be held criminally liable. I know these last two stories were about students fighting other students rather than teachers, but nonetheless, I still thought they were important to include. If you're being bullied, please tell someone who will actually listen and take action. If you're being ignored, keep on telling different people until someone helps you. And if you see someone being bullied, speak up. Don't just stand there filming it on your phone for social media.
Facts.
Help out a fellow human, because even though it might not seem like it, bullying can change the lives of those involved forever. Be human, be kind to the people around you, and remember, those who are truly strong stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves. With that being said, have a happy day.
What the fuck? Sue me!